Hey guys, sorry, I thought the audio was way longer than that, so I'm like doing other things. I'm like, oh, it ended. Hello everyone, welcome to our TokiTV show. Thanks for being with us each and every Sunday. How's everyone doing? Good, thumbs up. Yeah. Let's just do some quick check-ins and then we'll get going. I know people are still joining. But I am Annette and I just want to say hi to everyone. Welcome and thank you for being with us as we continue on our healing journey, figuring out, just processing our feelings, being together through all of it as we support each other ongoingly through this process. And just want to do some quick check-ins. Deborah, how are you?
I'm good. I'm back in the garden of Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, working out my feelings in the dirt. It's a good place. Take it to the dirt.
It's a good place. Stephanie and Casey, how are you?
We are good. Back in Minnesota
For now.
For a few days. So yeah, we're good. It's good.
Awesome. Deb Cruz?
I'm dealing with some issues. I'm working right now for a friend of mine who was shot down in New Mexico at a peaceful rally. So that's where my brain and heart is at right now.
Thanks, Deb Cruz. And at the end of today, please remind me to put that GoFundMe up. And we can talk a little bit more about that. Yeah, that's heartbreaking, and I'm frankly just embarrassed that that happened here. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that with you, Deb Cruz. Love you. Christina, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, just I'm here and like you, just trying to figure everything out. Healing. Sorry about that, Deb Cruz. That's terrible. Sorry, I was just like thinking about that. So
Yeah. Howard.
Yeah, doing well here. Sunny and bright, beautiful day. Trying to get outside some. Today is Susan's birthday, so we'll be doing some celebrating here. She could be along anytime. And happy to be here. Thank everybody for joining us.
Can you also remind me at the end to please have Alejandro? He will be joining us. He was at an event for pit bulls today. We want to have Alejandro sing happy birthday to Susan today. So that would be really great. But please help me remember because, yeah, I go all over the place. And we have a very special guest with us today, you guys. We have Mary Ward. Mary, let me put you in the middle of our screen. There you go. You get to be center. Thank you for being with us. Mary, I called Mary because she was posting up some things on our page, and I'm gonna let her tell you all about what she does and where this started. But I've just been so inspired, and I've been inspired throughout the many times you have posted something. But something was it yesterday morning, night before? I've been in bed with a migraine for like 2 days, so I'm just trying to figure out what's what. But I called her because I was just so inspired by what you and your kids, your classroom are doing and have been doing for orcas. And so Mary, I called, and Mary was gracious enough to jump on quickly with a day's notice. So thank you, Mary. Welcome to TokiTV.
Thank you for having me. I'm really pleased to be here. It's a privilege and a thrill.
Awesome. Who are the Tokay Whale Warriors?
So the Tokay High School Whale Warriors are any kids at school they're between 14 and 18. We have a mix of, ages. And they're kids that have just, we somehow built a reputation. We've been a club for like 10 years. And we somehow built a reputation, and the kids get to go whale watching, and that is a big draw. So we really try to educate the youth. The youth is our future and the future for our whales. And I feel it's imperative that the kids learn about what's going on. And I've had I don't know, probably 400 kids go through my club in about 10 years. It's been a thrill for me.
Wow. I'm going to show a quick picture. I think you said this is from the first year you started.
That's from the first year. We have the sign Lolita in back. She and TokiTV were our main, the whales that we focused on our very first year. It was really funny how this whole club started. I'm an insomniac, and I was listening to Coast to Coast AM, and it had Wayne Parcell, Rick O'Berry, Samantha Berg, the trainers, and you know who I'm talking about. And I was like sleeping and dozing, and I heard him talking about TokiTV, and I heard him talking about the dolphin that killed herself, the one that was in Flipper. And I started crying. And so I wrote the name down of the movie, and I found out where it was playing. And when I came back from that movie, I told my partner, he's the other advisor is Danny Knox, and he's my good friend. And I said, you gotta watch this movie. And he watched it, and he said, we got to share this with the kids. We need to do this. This is something that's so important. So that's kind of how it got started. And I wrote to Howard. He sent me some books. I actually got some books from Ken Balcom, just randomly got to go meet him at the Center for Whale Research. Those were the first things that we used. And the kids just really like it. See, the club is a special section of kids, but the curriculum is taught in my English class as nonfiction. So, yeah. So every kid in my class gets we call it the Blackfish unit, but it has Blackfish. It has Lolita, Slave to Entertainment. It has Howard's books. It has stuff that we have researched out for the anatomy, the physiology. I've done a lot of research myself. It's very interesting to me. So it's just fun for me.
On this first picture that I showed, tell us about the actual picture in the back.
So that picture was painted by those students that are in front of you. They were very moved, and a lot of those are my students. That was like my first year of teaching about Blackfish and about Lolita. It was TokiTV and Lolita. Those were the focuses of our work that year. But that is a picture of back to school night, and she is actually her size. She's a little thin, I think, but I think the kids did the best they could. And so she's been at our back to school nights. She's been displayed all over campus. And now she's been cut out of that paper, and she's on the back wall of my classroom. And we talked, she's right there. Yeah. And we talked about taking her down, and the kids said, no, we're not taking her down.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So 2014, and then you mentioned that the kids do get to go whale watching. I want to show a couple of pictures. Where do you go out of? And
Monterey. We go out of Moss Landing.
Okay.
And so this was 2016. This was a really special year because the orcas had, well, not unfortunately, they had gotten a gray whale calf, and they had stored it on the bottom of the bay, according to our biologist. And they were just kind of hovering. We were with these whales for 2 hours or more, and they were just right there. They were not afraid of us. There's some pictures. I don't know if you have that one. That guy was very close to some boats. He was not afraid. And at one point he was probably 20 feet away from the boat, and he just kind of that picture. Yeah, that's another one. And he kind of tipped his head up and he looked at me and I looked at him and I just started crying. And my kids were all like, oh. And it was also a special trip because we had a exchange student from Slovakia, and she'd never seen a dolphin or a whale or anything. And they were doing that thing where they're at the front of the boat and they're going right along with us. And we could see their blowholes opening and closing. They were that close to us. And she was squealing with delight. It was such an amazing day. And it was so amazing to share that with her and all the kids. It was a beautiful day.
Here's what's so cool about that is, you hear one of the, I don't know if you want to call it an argument, but you hear one of the things that people say about, seeing orcas in captivity as well. You can't go out and see them. And a lot of people can't afford to go do that, but you're making that happen for these youth in such a powerful way, because it's not just, hey, let's take a field trip. You're learning, you guys are, it's a whole curriculum that you're doing, and you're learning about the orcas. And talk to us a little bit about, the project that you're doing, or that you just did with the rocks and in regard to the captive whales.
So I'm sure all of you understand how it felt when Toki died. And it was devastating to me. And all of a sudden I said, rocks. And my co-advisor, he's like, what are you talking about, rocks? And I said, we're going to paint rocks. We're going to hide rocks. This one is particularly, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh,
Salient right now because I saw that he was very sick. I picked up, he's really sick. Yes. And then this one is Shuka, because this is the one whale that some of these kids had seen before. So we have like 35 rocks painted, and we hid them around the school. And on the back, it has a little note that says, Shamank is an orca who's is or was held in captivity. To find out more and receive a tasty treat, come and see Miss Ward or Mr. Knox. And so we had kids bringing them in. Then we take the rocks back out and go hide them. And they were all over the campus. We have a fairly big campus. We have 2,100 kids. So we had a lot of exposure, and the kids were really excited about it. And some of the kids just didn't want to give the rocks back. So when they asked if they could keep them, I said, of course, you gotta
paint some more rocks.
Oh, I'm doing that. That's Alice's work. And Alice is very special. She's just an amazing human being. And she did a free Corky. I think I sent you a picture of one that says free Corky. She did that too. She's very artistic. And she's shy, but she does this and she loves it. And she's always there. And she went whale watching with us. It was the first time she was ever on a boat. Some of my kids have never seen the ocean ever in their life until they go with us. And I think that's super important that they get to see that.
You said there were how many students you think that have gone through this curriculum?
Oh, the students?
Yeah.
So let's say 90 a year. Well, that's just in my class. So I taught it in junior curriculum. So I had usually 3 classes of juniors. So that's 90. My partner, Mr. Knox, had usually 2 classes of juniors. So we have that times 10, 900 kids or so that got the curriculum. And then other kids that have, joined the club that aren't in our classes. And they have we've had movie nights. We do the NorCal Science Fair where we put out information for kids and stuff like that. They've just learned a lot, and they're funny. The kids are they're mad. It's funny how we wouldn't think, we think teenagers, whatever, they're not. But when they see this and they understand what happens in captivity and what happened to Toki, she was special to so many of my kids, because the movies that show the Pen Cove capture, that really hits right here. I've shown it 3 times a year for 10 years. I've seen it 1,000 times, it feels like, and I still get all.
Just to put this in perspective, two teachers, 2 educators, 1,000 by the end of this year, 1,000 kids about will have learned about these specific whales, their plight, their history. Those 2 educators. To me, that is like, you're a hero, Mary, and thank you, because no, seriously, that's massive. That's 1,000 kids who are going to go out there, and even if, like you said, they're all, passionate about it, what the next conversation they hear about that, it's going to be like, I hear my kid scolding people, when she was in middle school, like, your family wants to go where? You guys can't go there, and I mean, these are kids who are going to talk to other people their age. That's making a massive difference.
Right. I think it is too, because I have kids that come up and go, yeah, my parents wanted to go to SeaWorld. I told them I'm not going. I've had that repeatedly. And it does my heart good. We don't have, San Diego's not very close, but the Shuka was close to us for a long time. I actually saw Shuka, and she did try to bite her trainer when I was watching. I mean, I was like, what is that orca doing? She was mad. And that was quite a while ago, because my older son, he's 39 now, and he was watching that as a little kid. And so Shuka got shipped off to San Diego. And
I see Danny's watching. Danny Knox is watching. Danny, thank you for everything you're doing with Mary and making that massive difference. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Yeah. Hey, Dee.
Get on
with us, Dee.
Like I was saying here. Well, I just, and I want to point that out, the difference 2 people can make, because there's a lot of educators that watch, and Mary and I were talking very briefly before the show, and, and I was saying how important it is. And Howard and I were also, and many people have been in this conversation about Tokay's legacy, and education is huge in that. And, I kind of want to challenge maybe you and Danny or some other educators who might be watching to, pursue learning more about Tokay's family in this really cool and fun way. Like, what if other people took this on with these rocks, and, you kind of did like an Easter egg hunt kind of thing, right? Like, what if people do this for Easter? What if people just do this at parks and events, or randomly find a rock that has this information about this wonderful orca? I mean, when I saw that pile of rocks there the other day when I was looking on Facebook, that's what sparked in my head, is this could be massive. You can educate all kinds of people in a really cool way.
Yeah, I think so too. And Danny's probably a lot more social than I am. So he has great ideas, and he has lots of contacts too. I always think that people sometimes educators aren't supportive of it because it isn't strictly within the curriculum. But most of the time we get a lot of support. Our principal's really supportive. I would love to expand out. We've actually done booths at the NorCal Science Fair, which is a huge thing for us, for Lodi at least. Has anybody ever heard of that? Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't heard of it, but I can well imagine the NorCal Science Fair. This is going to be huge. I mean, it's going to take in the Bay Area, Sacramento, it's going to
Yeah,
be.
Sacramento mostly, I think, and Modesto and that area. I don't know how far people come, but there's tons of different booths around there. And so when we're doing it, we're raising money, we're selling Juice It Up, and we have little educational things. We handed out a ton of the Lolita postcards that you sent us. A ton.
Good.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, there's another couple thousand people, at least kids, especially maybe tens of thousands that you reached that way.
Yeah.
And I hope this appearance might amplify your message and sort of raise your profile, you and Danny, as examples of how to design a curriculum for kids and stick with it and make it, thorough and comprehensive. And that is really the essence of Tokay's legacy, is that education about her family, about other captives. There's a lot to cover in just those two areas right there. You could fill many curriculums, but you have designed a great one, I think, and those materials, that education is going to stay with them. That's a kind of formative experience, education that they're going to take in with you as interpreter, that won't leave them. It's going to be there. I'm sure there are a lot that will want to go into marine biology.
We have them.
Either as an academic career, or just kind of on the side, but keeping up the interest and keeping tuned in to what's going on with Tokay's family, Southern residents, and other captives. And it's a lifelong learning. Once you're in, I can vouch for it. It doesn't let up.
It does not.
You keep wanting to learn more.
We're both like super curious, and so we look things up. And I think that's another good thing to do too, is to set that example. Okay, they'll ask me a question that I don't know. I look it up.
Yeah.
Right in front of them, so that they can see, look it up, learn it, take it in. I knew really nothing about orcas.
Right. Well, now you know a lot, I'm sure. and you'll show how to look it up. And
that's true.
Kids,
it's a skill that
kids will be doing
need.
the same thing.
Yeah. I have a question for you. I show the whale with Luna.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that is such a beautiful work. Mike and Suzanne did a beautiful job with that.
So who are his people, his family?
Oh, Southern residents.
Yeah, I know the Southern residents.
They want L98. Yeah.
So are any of his family alive still, I hope?
Not his mom, L67. I am not, but other members of the matriline and the family. They're a clan. They're pretty tight.
Yeah.
So once you're in the family, you're in the family forever.
It's just so amazing to me. And one of the things about that movie is it just it shows beauty. Blackfish isn't especially beautiful.
I got that. Yeah, the music is haunting, but the scenery is not so good.
Yeah, but
oh my God!
But the whale is beautiful.
The birthday girl has just handed me something. I don't know how well this can actually carry over.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But this is Tokay and Luna and the family.
Oh,
this was made and given to us.
It was for one of our August 8th events.
Oh, okay.
When Luna was missing up in Nootka Sound.
Right.
And we kind of did an event for both.
Well, this just shows
all their family.
Right. This is the family. This is the contacts. All of them. They're more family than just individuals. I mean,
That picture,
that's their essence, their identity is their family. So,
yeah, that picture, I think I took this from.
oh yes, beautiful.
Yeah,
That
that one. This was supposedly Ocean Sun.
okay.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
likely.
but there's a picture on there that I just saw that looked just like this, and I thought, I think I took my painting and copied that.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah,
That's a big rock.
yeah, it's kind of big, but yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
We
Yeah, Luna. I could go on about Luna too. Oh my God, what a character in that movie and that whole story. He really showed how gregarious and tuned in and eager to build a relationship, with people in the absence of his family were the next best thing, I guess.
right.
And Toki, of course, demonstrated that all her life. And, to anyone who would listen, which wasn't always that anyone would, but when Marcia was there for certain, and when others were there that were able to feel her, when she came to them and looked at them, and I mean, every record, every kind of incidents that I have ever heard of with Toki, with Luna, with Springer, with several others that have had human contact because they were separated from their family. They've tuned in a way that people have a hard time explaining, because when they look at you, they're looking into you. They're understanding. They're getting a read on you, and you can see it in their eyes. And Luna demonstrated that over and over. And then DFO made it illegal to make eye contact with him. I mean,
I know.
ridiculous.
Kids get so mad about that. They're always so frustrated with
Yes.
that whole bureaucracy thing. They get very frustrated.
I love
Yeah.
the lady in the whale who says that she was fined for looking at Luna.
Yeah.
She said that
Yeah.
was the best $120 I ever spent.
Seriously. And it is true if you look, because that one time I got to look an orca in the eye, I felt I was different. I was different after. And
Yeah.
Danny and I we love taking those kids and when they see the orcas and when they see we've seen a blue whale too, which was really exciting.
That's very cool.
We see humpbacks all the time. The kids love to see the otters, dolphins, sunfish, sea turtles. They get a whole thing. Monterey Bay must be like a very diverse place for animals, because we see a lot of different things there.
Yeah, real productive with the currents and canyon below. Yeah,
the canyon. Yeah, the kids learn about that canyon, and that's really interesting. That's very amazing because it's obvious when you go out there. It's really cool.
Mary,
that's so fantastic. Yeah,
I want to show some pictures in case your kids are watching and they were like, "Hey, show my picture." So I'm gonna put some pictures up, and you could tell us about it. Okay.
Okay. So this is our NorCal Science Fair Juice It Up. If you're familiar with Juice It Up, that's a place where you get smoothies and things like that. So you can do fundraisers with Juice It Up. And I think that particular day, I can't remember, we made like $500 or something. That was at the NorCal Science Fair. That's when we were handing out those Toki little postcards that we got. We had little coloring pages. If you look at the behind, there's some white with just names. You can't really read them. Those are all the captive orcas. And we have actually had to draw tombstones around some of those names. We had the names of the captive orcas. It was for our first or second homecoming parade. And that's my classroom. That's Mr. Knox right there in his hat. And that's the kids painting the little orca up there by Tokay's nose. That was our door decoration for Christmas. I mean, you go in my room, it's full of whales. That's the coastal cleanup. We all tie-dyed our shirts so that we would be black and white. This was a great group of kids, this particular group. And we go around Lodi Lake. It's attached to the McCullummy River, which is attached to the Delta. And the kids get to see the effect that the garbage and just the pollution in the lake that it has. It goes out to the ocean, out to where the orcas are. That's also coastal cleanup. And if you look there at the bottom, you'll see this is the garbage that we picked up. When you are finished with the coastal cleanup, you take your garbage, you dump it on a tarp, and then you go through it and figure, this is this certain type of garbage. There's plastic, there's rubber, there's aluminum, there's paper, just whatever's in there. And then they actually weigh it. This is our, I want to say this would be maybe our second homecoming parade. We did not have trucks at the time. We just had walking. So those kids made all of those signs, and we just, the homecoming parade was pretty informal, and it just had groups of kids walking around. But our kids are known to be very enthusiastic, and we generally get a pretty good response. I'm wearing my shirt there that says, my students made it for me. You can't see it. It says, I heart orcas in the wild. And my kids made it for me because I had to chaperone a trip to Six Flags as a chaperone for the senior class. And so they wanted me to wear that because there's still dolphins there. So they apparently got in trouble for wearing that shirt too. They made them for themselves and one for me. I wish Danny could talk on the thing here. This is trunk or treat. So this is our truck. We have a cornhole game that little kids can play. This is what we have in our parking lot at school for Halloween. So little kids can come around, they trick or treat with us. We have, basket of candy. We have the cornhole game, and we have little tiny, there's another picture of it. It might show the cornhole game, but we have little tiny beanbag orcas that our students have made, and cornhole board, 2 cornhole boards that Mr. Knox made. He's really great with wood. And so that's just another fun way. We put out information about orcas and about our club there too.
What does the sign say? I'm trying to read that.
Which one? The blue one?
Yeah.
There's something like orcas were not made to spend their lives in jail. It's very adamant. It says something like that. It's not where they're supposed to be. It's got a lot of exclamation points on it. The one with the orcas on it is the we love orcas in the wild. This is us. This is last Thursday. Mr. Knox, me. I'm the one without the beard. With the hair. And these are our kids. And we have, we actually painted his truck to look like an orca.
That's cool.
And we have, there's another picture. This one, if I don't know if you can zoom in, but that RIP is for Tokay, Sk'aliCh'elh. I can never pronounce the name, but we wrote the whole name. We did that design with, it's like the spirit orca. That was pretty prominent on our truck. The other ones, we have Orchid and Valentin and Freya, Lolita, Keto, and then the other side of the truck has different posters on it.
So awesome. So awesome.
Yeah.
And then lastly,
there's a shirt. So Marky Ortega designed this shirt. And it was about the having the chain start. If you look, it starts in Florida around the flags, and we wanted to symbolize her going home to Washington. And if you look, there's little orcas. There's little orcas there, and there's a heart there. We wear that shirt proudly.
And you said he did that in 2014?
2014, yeah. He just sent me a thing on Facebook. Miss Ward, I'm glad you guys still wear that shirt. And I'm like, yeah, it's beautiful.
Mine's similar to my tattoo. There's the chains. I don't know if you can see that. So
No, I can't really see it.
Definitely spoke to my heart there. Just amazing work that you've done, Mary.
I could not do any of this without Mr. Knox. I wish he was here with me. We've been friends for 20 years, more than 20 years, and this is something. The club actually was his idea. I was the one that was all, we got to teach this. I'm all like intense, and he's like, no, let's have a club. Let's do something, and we're doing something. And it seems odd for a little landlocked city. There's the river's there, but it takes 2 hours really to get to the ocean. But the kids really have responded. And if we can teach compassion and we can teach empathy and love, respect, that's what it's about.
That's high education. That's the finest. Yeah.
Thank you. That's what we want.
We'll
and
get
one thing too,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Where's Mr. Knox?
I sent him a thing saying, send me your email, but we'll have to have him on soon. He did accept my challenge immediately. If you guys saw when I said I challenge you guys and other educators and churches and communities and, just family groups, whoever, to do this, to take the time to learn about each Southern resident and to, share that knowledge. I think that's amazing. And Danny said immediately, challenge accepted. So I'm like,
definitely.
You guys can tell us when you kick that off. And
definitely excited.
Students or past students, that want to come on and teach us about whichever Southern resident they choose. And
that would be amazing.
That would be fun. And that would be incentive, and you'd have to get permissions and all that good stuff. But I think that would be fun. And what a way to share the knowledge, having youth teach us. I think that'd be awesome.
I was at a street fair this morning, and this young man comes up to me and he's like, Miss Ward. And I said, I don't remember his name, but I remembered him. And he said, man, I am so glad you showed me that movie Blackfish. He's 27 now. And he said that to me, and he said, that was one of the things that I do remember about high school, is that we watched Blackfish and how you really cared about it. So, and Danny and I both are very passionate about it. And passion is good in teaching.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mary.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We, like I said, Howard and I were talking about, Tokay's legacy, and that is just, there's so many things, right? And the focus on her family right now, one of the conversations happening, I'm going to kind of turn this over to Howard, is we got to get those dams breached. We have to get those dams breached. So Howard, what's the update and not update on that? And what do we do now?
Well, Christina's been tuned into this too, so check me if I miss anything. But President Biden just issued a statement, anyway, that is honoring the native salmon of the Pacific Northwest. A very large proportion of those, about half of the entire Columbia River system salmon historically have come from the Snake River watershed that is now blocked off entirely by these 4 dams. I mean, there's partial movement, but it's restricted so much that it is decimated, down to a small single-digit percentage of the former salmon that used to be spawned and flow out to sea and grow large over 3 or 4 or 5 years and come back on their way back, come right through southern resident orca habitat and foraging range, and were what the southern residents depended on, certainly for many months of every year, for their survival, for their sustenance, to be able to raise their young. And so those dams are blocking that watershed and need to come down. And that's been the case. People predicted that before the dams were built, but the Army Corps ignored all the biologists, even the heads of fish and wildlife or fish and game departments in 4 states that recommended against building the dams, and they did anyway. And now every salmon or orca biologist that you talk to agrees that those dams are starving southern residents. So we need to take them down. And Joe Biden just issued a statement saying that the salmon need to be preserved, but he didn't quite go as far as saying we need to remove the dams. He came right up to the edge, and I think that all of our efforts to all those calls, and we need to put that phone number up. All those calls and emails, letters, every which way that we can contact him, as well as other members of the administration, certainly Department of Commerce, which NOAA, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, is under Department of Commerce. They have a big role, but basically, if it goes to the White House, they'll all get it, and we just need to nudge him that last little bit to come out with an executive order. I mean, that's really what it would take. Of course, there's a huge amount of political footwork that has to be done, and I'm pretty confident it is being done right now. I think preparations are being made, but we need to keep that political support. Basically, it's not so much pressure. I think he wants to do it, but he's got to know we've got his back, because it's a huge flashpoint. There are politicians arrayed against it. There's a huge lobby involving every port authority, every public utility. So many organizations and institutions have been basically fed only the pro-dam agenda for decades, and so they don't know any better, and they think it's some crazy scheme, just anti-dam activists, but this really needs to be done, and I think they understand it in the White House. They don't want to take on a completely overwhelming, distracting political firefight right now, but that's how we need to have their back and be supportive of that. So let's keep calling the White House and get those dams down. We're that close. Could happen anytime. The 4 Klamath dams right now, Klamath River dams, one of the 4 have already been taken down. That just started a few months ago. And I think within a year, maybe 2 years, all 4 will be down and the Klamath River will be opened up. And that will be the largest dam removal in history, following on the Elwha dams, the 2 on the Elwha that were up for a century and completely blocked salmon. Now they're down for less than a decade, but already the salmon are way upstream. We saw some ourselves just a month ago in their initial spawning. So, I mean, if we open the rivers, if we let the rivers be rivers, they will spawn salmon. So that's what we need to do with the snake. So It's coming, but we've got to keep that push going.
Well, and I love how you say that. Like it has their attention, right? I mean,
Oh,
it's at so now's the time to not be like, oh yay, they sent this out. No, now's the time to say thank you, and here's what needs to happen next, Christina.
right. It's like we're in overtime and
Yeah.
it's tied, and we've got to push it over the goal right now. This is a big final push.
Thank you for the football analogy. I'm mad at football today, but we'll talk about that. Christina.
Yeah, call and write, both snail mail and email. Don't let up, because this is the time. We're gonna do it. It's gonna happen, but we have to make it happen by calling, writing, and emailing, because man, this is it. This is it. We're gonna do
Yeah.
it. We're gonna do it. So everyone needs to get their pen out and write down the number, call. Also, everyone needs to find a rock and paint it and put all the description of your whale on the back. So everyone has a job. We have a lot of work to do still. You know, in the name of Tokay's legacy, we must save her family for sure. So education is key. And Mary, you're awesome. You are so awesome.
Thank you.
And
I have a
really-
question for you. Can you
For-
tell me what kind of verbiage is going to get? I will have my kids write when I get back to school in 2 weeks.
Yes, you know what? I should get your email.
Okay.
Get your contact information and we can talk. And also, I'm from Monterey, so that was fun to listen to you guys going out there on Moss Landing and everything. That was great. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well-
will totally get you. I have a whole different slew of letters.
I'm sending you Mary's email right now, Christina.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
We'll
Yeah,
in
that'd be
touch
great.
for sure.
And that way I can get the kids to write too, and maybe get their parents into it too.
Exactly.
We get parents
Yeah.
that want to come and participate too.
Well,
Really?
the short version is save salmon, save orcas, save money, because it's actually a big boondoggle. It's a waste of taxpayer and ratepayer money to keep the dams up. So everyone should be supportive of that.
Yeah, awesome. I'm texting Alejandro. He was just on backstage, but he fell off. So I'm like, he needs to get back up here. Alma, I want to say hi to you. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm home and just trying to integrate everything that I've absorbed over the last 10 days. And I'm really energized by it all. And I'm excited that this was the first TokiTV. Mary, what you do is incredible. And I relate in a small way. That's what I spent a lot of my life doing, was providing an alternative. A lot of people come to the Keys to swim with dolphins, and I at the time was the only person providing let's go out to the wild and see the dolphins. And it evolved over the years to be a little too many people. And so I started a organization to maintain some manners and a protocol for how we approach the dolphins and how we give them their space and how we, spend time with them in the best way. And now I'm semi-retired. I only go out on days when I want or someone really needs someone. But I think that is where the change happens, when people's mindset switches to, the captive thing is so wrong. How did I ever think that was okay? It's just one little shift in the mindset and it changes everything in people. And then everybody that they communicate with from then on forward, they will tell them how they feel about it. So it was really pretty serendipitous how I ended up spending the week with Marcia, who was Tokay's trainer and in the captive field. And I probably never would have hung out with someone in that field. And I can't tell you how much I love her, like a sister and a new best friend. And I see why she did it, and I understand. And it's, you know, somehow everything that's happened with Tokay has brought the right people together for even deeper and further change. And it's really energizing to me. So energizing that I got struck by lightning the first night I got home. I told you guys about my electronic thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it happened again. Well, I'm on my phone now. Everyone's really teeny tiny. I wish I could give you all a little tiny hug.
You're
But
so
I love
awesome.
you all. Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, love you too, Alma. It was really good to connect. Alejandro, I'm so glad you made it.
The rain, I did catch on the rain, was heavy rain on the expressway. And I said I had to hurry up. I did my best. But, I was invited to join a pit bull event. The pit bulls were not allowed since 1989. So I have always supported these amazing animals too, because there are bad owners, not bad owners, not pit bulls. Pit bulls are very good. I was supporting this event. But anyway, I did my best to be here. And, I met two amazing journalists, one of them of the CNN. Another one was Xiomara, my friend from Univision Channel, we met a mayor was there, a commissioner, sorry. And many people, that it's important to bring awareness about what happened to Tokay and see what is next, like I say, see what future brings to orcas. Let's fight for Tokay's law. Let's fight to put an end to animals cetaceans in captivity in Florida, and why not in the whole country, in USA. When you see the story about the greyhound racing, how these two amazing women brought the amendment to the Constitution, and they put an end to greyhound racing in Florida and many states. It's unbelievable. And now I see what happened with my friend, the director of the Pitbull Coalition, since she's fighting since 1889, over a decade, over 10 years. And finally, now the pit bulls are allowed to walk in Miami again, So we have to keep going. Like I said, I'm working on it, and I will not stop. This is a promise I made to Tokay, her family, the Lame people too, We need to help these amazing creatures, southern residents orcas. We need to breach the dams, and we need to do our best until we achieve this goal. We will not stop until we achieve this goal. We will get it. We will get it. I have a lot of hope.
Thanks, Alejandro. And you've got a whole team, a whole family, rather, here ready to.
Thank you so much. I know that.
Yeah.
I know everybody. Thank you so much.
We love you. We do have a request for you, though, at the very end of the show. It's Susan's birthday, and you're our resident happy birthday singer. Just saying. So I don't know if you're
So
willing.
cool.
Are you
Who's
willing?
Susan?
Are you willing to sing happy birthday to Susan?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Da, da, da. Thank you. Love you guys.
Where is the flute? We need some flute here.
Oh, I don't know if I have the room for a flute.
Okay, happy birthday for many more years with Howard over there. Let's see if we can put an end to animals in captivity. Let's keep working with Orca Network, Animal Legal Defense, and all the organizations gonna help. Let's see what can we do for these amazing creatures. It's time to put an end. I have a lot of hope. We are living still in the caveman era. It's unbelievable. We have technology, virtual reality, holograms, and why we had to keep these animals in captivity, in the tanks. That's not good.
This is Tokay's legacy.
Yeah,
Tokay's legacy. Of course, we want to keep her memory alive forever. She's with me everywhere. until my last minute of life.
Every single person who comes across this story, something else, Howard and I were talking about how the group page just, expanded after she passed. And I was originally, I was like, golly, if we had all these people ahead of time, but it wasn't meant to be at that time. But all these people now are coming into this conversation that they weren't just hiding, they didn't know. And now this has brought so much attention that this is the absolute best time to go back to basics. People don't know some of the things that we know because we've been doing this for so long. Mary for over 10 years, just people who've been in this conversation. This is a brand new audience, and that's the best audience because that means that there's an expansion. And the more people you educate, the more people that are out there to make a difference. And so, yeah, we're all here for that. And where people say, well, what's TokiTV going to be? Well, it's going to be her legacy, and education will absolutely be a portion of that. So her family, the other captive orcas, like you said, Alejandro, I mean, we do have work to do. And everyone will have a part in that. I really appreciate that. Advocates have a huge place in my heart. And I'm going to turn this over to Deb Cruz because I did say I wanted to talk a little bit, speaking of advocates. Deb Cruz, can you give us a little background on Jacob? Because I met him that gathering there in Lummi in May, and I've been on other Zoom calls with him, but you may know about him a little bit more. Is there anything you would like to share about him? You're good.
Oh, okay. I was trying to scroll down. Jacob Johns is a friend of mine and a fellow Unitarian Universalist, faith denomination. And he has been working extensively in climate issues, bringing the indigenous perspective, both here at home and overseas. And he's also been a big part of gathering the eagles, and also went on the Free Leonard Peltier totem pole journey with Freddie Lane, and a friend of the House of Tears carvers. He was attending a conference down in New Mexico, climate conference, and also joined with a local indigenous group in Española who were celebrating the postponement of the reinstallation of a Spanish conquistador statue. And in the place where they were talking about reinstalling this, they had set up an altar with squash and flowers and things like that. And they were charged, I guess is the word to say, by a mega hat-wearing individual. And he was charging the area where the women and children were at. And so Jacob and some of the other men blocked his passage. And there was a small concrete wall that they forced him to get back behind, but he jumped the wall again, and they pushed him back over the wall again to keep him away from the altar and the women and the children. And the individual pulled a gun and shot my friend. This comes real hard after Toki, you know. So anyway, he was brought to Presbyterian Espanola Hospital, and they did surgery there, and then they shipped him off to University of New Mexico, where he is still in ICU and under care. His prognosis, last I heard, looks good, that he will survive this, but he's going to have some medical issues for the rest of his life. He had to have his spleen removed. His liver was damaged, and there was some comment about his diaphragm, but I don't know what that means. He did go, I believe he did go into surgery yesterday morning to get some issues with bleeding taken care of. And that's the last I've heard so far. So we do have a GoFundMe going because we want Jacob back on his feet and we want him back doing the work that he's so extremely passionate about. I don't know what else to.
Thanks, Deb.
add in.
Yeah, I put the link up in the comments for those on Facebook because that's just easier for me to do from my phone. But also, in addition to the GoFundMe, prayers
Prayer.
for him in his recovery. He's in ICU, and he's here in Albuquerque, and I understand his family did make it down here, which is good. But yeah, just send some prayers. I mean, it really was a sacred moment, and yeah. So if you can contribute to the GoFundMe, but this group is no stranger to gathering in prayer, and so I ask that you guys consider to do that for him. Wonderful individual, just sweet. There's a picture, and I wish I could have found it very quickly from gathering where he is very gently walking Raynell out onto the water, and it's just it just shows his nature, his caring, sweet, respectful nature. And there's a photo of them, and he's kind of holding her up as she's draping the canoes with the cedar boughs. And I wish I could find that. Oh, here, watch. Let me see if I can get that quickly up or not. But it's just a really it's embarrassing for me. I'm here, and just sad to see that this exists out there, even though we hear about it all the time. It's a little different when it hits home. So I'm just going to show this picture because some of you may have seen it before, and you may know him. Christina and Deborah were there, I think. So, but that's Jacob there, and it's just a really sweet picture. He had walked her out to greet the canoes. So I don't want to end on a completely bummer note because you're right. The prognosis is good. But that's the time to continue the prayers, right? For his healing and for his family and just for everyone who's standing for something. There's so much negativity and people trying to tear things down right now. And I think we need to, continue to stand for something positive. And the only thing we should be tearing down right now are the dams. So that I will advocate to tear down. But so I just wanted to put that out there. I put the link in. Deb Cruz, thank you. And I said some prayers for you last night because I know you were having a rough time with all of this too. And you also have your family here backing you too. So yeah. All right. Howard, is there anything you want to say to close? We're over our hour, but and that's okay.
We're regrouping under the banner of Tokay's legacy. We're going to try to live up to her ideals and standards of graciousness and openness and compassion and empathy. And that's for the captives that are still in tanks. But also, and very important, I'm sure, to her is her family. And we've already covered the Snake River dams, which are the big push, the big thing that we need to do for them. But also other restoration and protection and just overall heightened awareness and understanding, appreciation of their incredible capabilities and lives and character and cultures. So we're going to be doing a lot of that. And also, I would like to invite everyone to tune in on the 6th, coming right up. I'm going to be doing a presentation. It's at 9 a.m., but it will be archived. And that's 9 a.m. Pacific. And that'll be on kgua.com. You can just go to KGUA Radio and it'll have the Ocean Life Symposium right there, and it's a whole day of talks. And I'm starting it off at 9 a.m. So hope to see you there. Thank you. There's the banner. Thank you, everyone. We're sticking together. We're a family. We're Tokay's family, and we're staying together as she did with her family, more than we even could tell. But she was always with her family. Now we know.
Now we know.
Yeah. And I just want to add quickly that, you know, the thing I think Tokay did best was bringing people together, all kinds of people from every walk of life and every background. And that's what we want to continue doing in her name, and to work on impossible problems. I mean, we were that close to getting her home, and people told us it was impossible. And, you know, it was almost, we were so close. So, you know, people are saying the dams can't come down. They said the Elwha dams couldn't come down, and, you know, that's not going to stop us. And
no.
So that's what we want Tokay's legacy to be, is continuing all these people together in her name, because that's what, continuing to do it. I mean, you know, it's amazing.
It's her legacy.
We're getting so many contacts every day from people we had no idea that she had already touched, and new people she's touching.
I don't remember who said this last week, or it might have been the week before, but I quoted it. If you put Tokay spirit behind this, you can't stop. And that's what we need to carry with when we're doing this, is she's supporting, she wants her family taken care of and to succeed. And there's no better legacy than to have a family. So we'll continue to do that. Like you said, as a family, we got Alejandro working on and we're going to expand that, and we're just all going to back Alejandro, back each other. I love you guys a lot. We'll be in touch. Howard, I look forward to the recording of that if I'm not able to listen in person, but you know I'm going to try. And so thank you for continuing to educate the world. Mary, you're making a massive difference with the kids there. Thank you. Who knows who they're going to talk to about this? It's just going to keep going and going and going, and just appreciate all of you. Alma, thanks for joining. Everybody,
can I make an addition before we enjoy your weekdays? I'm sorry. Someone need to say something.
I'm glad that wasn't my birthday wish, Alejandro.
Yep, that's there too.